Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Look, we have spoken in the last couple of weeks about all of the concerns related to the tariffs. There are a lot of real world issues that people are genuinely aware of and that could really come and hurt the consumers and American businesses. One thing that we've spoken about is the potential inflationary effects of tariffs if they go through in their current form. One of the biggest companies which could be hardest hit by this is Apple, who manufactures a majority of their products in China. We've already covered in a previous video how Apple's price of manufacturing, if produced in the US, and therefore cost for consumers, would rise significantly. Right now, you can buy an iPhone for about $1,000, as I'm sure you all know. But imagine if that was made in the US. Wages are higher, costs overall are higher. Then we'll be looking at consumers potentially paying up to $3,500 for the same iPhone if made in New Jersey, Texas, or any other states. Look, it's just a difficult conversation, and we've seen a lot of analysts obviously speak about this. Now, this is when we spoke about how Dan Ives said that the tariff economic Armageddon could be a complete disaster for companies like Apple. Apple could be disproportionately hit, but they are not alone. We've already seen how markets have seen a lot of turmoil. We spoke about how the BlackRock CEO, Larry Fink, believes that we could be looking at another 20% decline in stock prices if tariffs continue in this way. We've got so much to talk about here, guys. There's a lot of issues, Just the other day we saw Trump speaking about exempting tech tariffs. However, then we heard a Trump official saying that the exemptions are temporary. It's really difficult to say where this is going, Markets have been really uncertain for the last couple of weeks. I'm sure you guys don't need me to tell you that. And there's a lot of fears in the minds of a lot of people. Now, one group of people who are concerned is, of course, the American consumer. We're seeing Americans potentially looking at paying more for their average goods. We are actually seeing some assumptions that inflation could be pushed to 4% this year, one in a top Fed official, after the Trump tariffs. There are a lot of concerns. There are certainly a lot of questions as well revolving around these practices. We're seeing Americans being concerned about this, and it is obviously going to be affecting the way that people are spending. Americans say that the Trump tariffs are slashing their spending and shaping it, because they are concerned. They're concerned about inflation, they're concerned about a number of different things, right? They're worried about the economy, and a lot of people believe that we could already be in some sort of a recession. Really quite an interesting thing to see. And the question is, how does this play out? The thing is, it's really difficult to say. I would say it's actually impossible for the average person to say, as we see Trump going back and forth on these policies all the time. Tech tariffs are on, tech tariffs are off. Tech tariffs are coming back on, tech tariffs, it's just one example. We've seen the massive tariffs proposed for all countries, then there's a pause, then there's a delay. It's just difficult to say. One thing that we can say though is people in the markets, people who know about this stuff, the average consumer on the street, they are aware that there could be some consequences to this, and it appears to be drastically shaping the way they choose to spend their money. Let me know how you feel about this one in the comments, guys. Will the tariffs be a long-term benefit, or is it likely to just push prices up? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments, so do let me know. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, do make sure to give us a like and subscribe, and I hope I'll see you soon. Goodbye.